Greetings bleepers, how the devil are you? Okay, finally I've managed to do my Quest Q60 review. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's because of this lockdown business and stuff, but it does mean that I've been able to thoroughly look at this even more than I would have done if we didn't have that particular scenario. So here you go then, the Quest Q60 review, and I'm going to do this in a format of negatives and positives, I think. Okay, firstly we get some nice accessories. You know, we got these lovely headphones. They're really nice, these headphones, they're really good. You've got big buttons. You get a lot of headphones from other brands and the buttons are really quite fiddly, so when you're in freezing cold and it's windy and you're trying to fiddle around with your buttons, big buttons, nice, really good, really comfortable, easy to set up, Bluetooth. Don't know how waterproof they are, but they've been in some pretty severe weathers, as you can see. Absolutely fine, nice. You also get the wired headphones as well, so you get those options accessory wise, which is a nice touch. See, when you get to a certain price of metal detector, probably around about the £700 mark, things begin to even out. You know, there's not massive differences to what you're going to buy in that particular price range, and your choice becomes more about smaller details which fit you personally. You know, so power's not going to change, depth and target IDs are not going to change. They're pretty much going to be pretty good across the board, right? So for example, a good way to explain that, the Equinox has a locked stem, for example. It's a fully waterproof machine, the Equinox 800 I'm talking about here, one that I enjoy using. But if you were to be someone that was more prone to enjoy being in the sea or in rivers, that might not be a good option for you, because although the machine's waterproof, that lock stem is always going to be as long as it is. Right, so the Quest Q60, for example, will do that. So if you are someone that's interested in diving, of course this is fully waterproof up to 5 meters, then this would be a better option, and that's a small difference on your personal preference. So I think at this point things become just about personal preferences. So talking about the fact that it can do that, and this locking mechanism here is just an absolute breath of fresh air, that one. If you're feeling slight discomfort, you can move it slightly, and the same with these ones here with your length as well, which is a massive big deal, I think personally, over a locked stem. I like that a lot. Now something that we're getting used to with Quest is just gorgeous interface, you know, just looks, and just the look of the thing is nice. I like the magnetic thing here. It's the same as an Equinox's one, for example. That's nice, just clips in there, easy. The modes it comes with, you've got the park mode, field mode. We'll talk about the field mode in a second. You've got 2 beach modes, so you've got a kind of like a dry sand option, and then a wet sand option, a salt water option, and then in addition to those we have that deep mode as well, which is great for horde hunting. As I said before, target ID is just spot on. Iron, just great at picking out iron, and again I'm kind of like nodding a little bit towards it being preferable as a beach detectorist more than a land detectorist, if you were really kind of like getting in the nitty gritty of what you were choosing. I would say this is a better beach machine than the Equinox 800. Beach machine than the Equinox 800. And the reason I say that is just it's exactly the same. It's great. Target ID is fantastic. I've always said that the Equinox 800 is probably one of my favourite beach machines, and this is up there. But I think it's better because of one thing. It's really good at picking out alley. Small bits of can have been smashed you know, around the place, whereas my Equinox 800 has a bit of a problem with it. You can kind of figure it out after a while, but it's kind of frustrating. Where this is really good at just going, nah, that's alley, mate, just ignore it. Whereas you have to do a little bit more investigation with the 800. But again, you know, understand that those nuances are just tiny. We're looking at really tiny things here. Never dug a hot rock. I thought someone might be interested in that. But saying that, with any modern machine, I don't dig hot rocks. Hot rocks shouldn't be an issue with any machine anymore in 2021. If they are, then you need to get a new machine, I think. Another positive is the multi-frequency, the 3 frequencies that we can get into and we can change and move around, and then we can get even deeper, and we can go into settings regarding that, considering the type of field that you're on. So there's a lot there to investigate settings wise if you want to get into all that stuff. So a quick look at the interface while we're here. This is so at the moment we're in park mode, as you can see, and just to move along we're going to hit the function button there. So this is our FE sen, and then we've got the band. So at the moment I just run them in 14k because it's nice mix, isn't it? It's a nice mix of slow and fast, so depth and everything else which comes after that. So band 14k, and you can change it to 21k, or you can come back down and you can go to, I believe, 5k. So 14k is a good kind of like round midpoint for me, well, for everybody really. Here's your frequency. Change your frequencies if you need be. Exclude IDs there if you need to get into it. And then you've got your tones, but you can only go up to 4 tones. I find that 3 is great, low, mid, high, you know, typical stuff. And then we've got the, then we can go into our kind of like low tones, you know, what they're sounding like, and then the same here as well. And yeah, it's kind of like standard stuff really. Another positive is the beast coil, which is a beast. It's a big old coil, obviously bigger than the coil that comes with the 30, which I believe is the Raptor, I think. Don't quote me on that. Definitely don't quote me on that. It's a bigger coil, so you're going to get more depth. The pinpoint function is wonderfully accurate. Really, really good. Sometimes they can be a bit off, can't they? Just nice. So yeah, there you go, like thumb there, you know, everything's nicely set up. It's just a good looking machine again. So that's the positives. Let's get on to the negatives. And again, please understand that these may not be negatives for you. These are my negatives that probably couldn't even be construed as negatives really. Well, yeah, you can make your mind up. First one, which was also a positive, the yin and yanging of things, the coil. It's a beast, hence why it's called the beast. And I feel it unbalances the machine slightly. And it's quite a stamina drainer when you're stubble busting, when you're on rough ploughed. I found it personally, someone coming from a 30-30 to this wouldn't see it as being a problem at all. But someone coming from a 250 to this would feel the weight difference. And it's the coil. It's not the unit itself. It's the coil. It feels slightly unbalanced to me, just slightly, and it does take it out of you after a while, I feel personally. Again, that's a personal thing. I'm just a ginger weakling, perhaps. And the next negative is if you're going through the modes, you have to double push. So you have to push that button there, and then you have to push up. And the buttons are quite tough. So you've got to so you have to kind of put things down and just, I'd like a one button thing. It's a small thing, but it can be quite frustrating. Field mode is hot. It is hot. It is sparky. It has got a bad attitude, but it's got some good depth, you know, because of that. It has that sensitivity. To remedy that, you can take down the sensitivity, but I felt like I was pulling it down to really dangerous places. But then you can just change the kilohertz and then change the settings within each one of the kilohertz that you're doing. So you'd go in individually. I found that kind of frustrating because each field has its, you know, the mineralization is different. So I felt like I was, you know, I've got quite a few fields on one permission, and each one felt different. So I'm constantly kind of like button, and once you get it, it's fine, you know. But in a lot of instances, I would just go straight to park mode on a field because it just seemed to be a lot more stable and fruitful for me as a mode. Same with beach modes. If you use kind of like the dry sand one on the wet one, it's going to be chattery. So you need to flip backwards and forwards. But unfortunately, on a beach, you have a zone of dry and wet, and there's a zone in the middle where it's kind of wetty dry. Is that the way of explaining it? So you have to kind of like keep an eye on that as well. So there you go. That's my kind of overall opinion of the Quest Q60. I think if you were using it for a particular purpose, that probably being more in rivers and in sea and as a beach machine, then this is an absolute must-have, I think, if you were using it for those purposes. Land, it's a perfectly good machine for land, and it sits, you know, it's as good as the other ones around its price range, but it just really kind of shines in the wet stuff, I think. So there you go, my review of the Quest Q60. I hope it helped you in some way, my friends. I shall see you in the next video.